Origins of Chameleon. Dmitry Smerdyakov, aka Chameleon, was first member of an inexperienced Spider-Man's rogues gallery. The Chameleon is an elite spy and a master of disguise, using a variety of masks, technology, and other inventive techniques to flawlessly mimic the appearance and mannerisms of virtually anyone. Although he has been revealed to be the half-brother of Kraven the Hunter, the face behind his trademark white mask, worn even beneath his other masks, has never been seen. The Chameleon was born a Soviet citizen named Dmitry Smerdyakov. In his youth, he was a servant and half-brother to Kraven the Hunter, Sergei Kravenov, and eventually became a minor associate to one Gustav Fiers. Although Dmitry and Sergei were friends, Sergei was often abusive to Smerdyakov, leading to a combination of admiration and resentment towards Kravenov. Eventually, Smerdyakov emigrated to the United States of America. As he had made a talent for himself during his youth, impressing his brother by impersonating friends and neighbors, he assumed an even more impressive disguise, the identity of the Chameleon. During his first known criminal outing on a spy gig, he impersonated Spider-Man, though he was exposed and arrested. Shortly afterward, Kravenov, now Kraven the Hunter, himself came to America, and the Chameleon set his old associate's sights on Spider-Man. Both men became longtime enemies of Spider-Man, part of his primary rogues gallery. Chameleon's next gambit was to contact his stepbrother, Kraven the Hunter, and convinced him to try his hand at prey worthy of his skills. Kraven was no match for Spider-Man, and the two villains were arrested and deported back to Russia. They returned and the lifelong feud between Spider-Man and Chameleon truly began. Eventually, these confrontations reached a more personal level. Using secret plans left by the late Harry Osborn, Chameleon discovered Spider-Man's secret identity. First, he crafted androids of the hero's deceased parents. Believing them to be his true mother and father, Spider-Man was shocked when the androids were killed and revealed to be nothing more than machines. However, this was nothing compared to what followed. After capturing Spider-Man, Smerdyakov disguised himself as his rival's alter ego, Peter Parker, and attempted to rape his wife, Mary Jane Watson. Although she was able to beat him off with a baseball bat, the experience deeply traumatized her. Fortunately for Spider-Man's friends and family, Chameleon's memory is spotty at best. Years of abuse by his stepfather and stepbrother had taken its toll, and Chameleon was driven insane, unable to actually recall his actual identity due to the many years of pretending to be other people. He became an empty shell, one that he filled by his skills in impersonation. At one point, Chameleon donned the identity of the deceased Kraven after apparently assuming his personality and fully believing he was Kraven himself, even to the point that Kraven's own son was unable to tell if he was actually him or not. Another time had Chameleon take a swan dive off of the Brooklyn Bridge, declaring his love for Spider-Man after using holograms to bait him out to see him. However, he survived this incident, as well as a near-fatal shooting by his nephew Alyosha Kravenov, only to suffer the most embarrassing defeat of his career. Chameleon once again disguised himself as Peter Parker and tried to kill his Aunt May, but he was fed a drugged pie by the old lady and was once again captured. Following the events of Brand New Day, all memory of Spider-Man's secret identity has been erased. Chameleon was seen impersonating newly elected President Barack Obama, until he was foiled by Spider-Man, who was photographing the event. He also aided Sasha Kravenov and the rest of Kraven's family in resurrecting him, even aiding in capturing Spider-Man by pretending to be a close ally of his. Of all of them, he was the only one to realize Kraven probably did not want to be resurrected in the first place due to his own madness and sense of honor. He was defeated with the rest of the Kravenovs by an enraged Spider-Man. He has most recently been seen as one of the villains participating in Dr. Octopus' scavenger hunt. The first of these items is Menace and Norman Osborn's newborn baby. He is told by Octavius that the baby is the first of a new species. He is caught by Spider-Man, whom he tells that the lizard now has the baby. Powers and abilities. Originally, the Chameleon had no superhuman powers and simply used makeup and elaborate costuming to impersonate his targets. In order to do this, he implemented a device in a belt buckle that emitted a gas that helped him mold his features, as well as storing extra masks and costumes for use. Later, the Chameleon obtained a microcomputer from Spencer Smythe for his belt buckle that could be programmed with the facial features of hundreds of people. A prototype of this was a full costume that did the same thing, but it proved to be too clunky in the field for actual success. The belt buckle also contains a video receiver that enables the computer to analyze the appearance of anyone the Chameleon encounters so that it can duplicate his/her features using electrical impulses. The computer utilizes holographic technology that allowed him to change his appearance at the push of a button. His electronic devices allowed him to appear as two different people to two separate observers simultaneously. The Chameleon's costume consists of memory material that can be altered by electrical impulses from his belt so as to resemble the clothing of the person he is impersonating. This also allows him to blend into the background of surfaces and hide, as well as create holograms close to him that mimic people almost perfectly. Later, the Chameleon's powers are made innate, as an experimental serum rendered his flesh malleable. The pigmentation of his skin and even the nature of the epidermis have been surgically and mutagenically altered by a serum so that he can instantly take on the physical appearance of any person at will, allowing him to look, imitate, and impersonate other various individuals. The Chameleon's malleable flesh can assume the appearance and features of virtually any human being he chooses. This includes changing his eye pigmentation, hairstyle or color, body shape or type, and facial features. The Chameleon's abilities are limited only by the extent of his imagination. The Chameleon later required his computer belt in order to trigger this power. If he lost the belt, the Chameleon would revert back to his normal, dead white form. However, his true face wasn't known even to his family, according to even Craven himself, so this could actually have been his innate power all along. The Chameleon also wears fabric made of memory material that responds to nerve impulses and can appear to be whatever costume he wishes to be. The Chameleon can also flawlessly imitate and mimic nearly anyone's voice and/or speech patterns he hears, although he no longer needs to use such skills and is a brilliant method actor and impressionist, as well as being a master of both politics and business administration when using his skills to get what he wants, as well as being a successful crime boss in the underworld, to the point that even Kingpin pointed out him as a feasible rival. The Chameleon can imitate others in such a convincing manner that, apart from the people closest to that person, practically no one can tell the Chameleon and his victims apart. His natural talents are now increased by a serum that would allow him to alter his face at will. The Chameleon can also speak fluently in several different languages including English, Russian, and others without using any kind of accent, and is a formidable and experienced hand-to-hand combatant who possesses knowledge based on basic street fighting techniques and was using any kind of fighting techniques and skills he learned from his time with the KGB, making the Chameleon an above-average unarmed combatant. He's also surprisingly fast on his feet, able to leap around a rampaging hammerhead while wearing a fat suit. The Chameleon is a master of espionage, a skilled marksman, and an explosive expert. The Chameleon is also a skilled pilot capable of driving and piloting helicopters and planes. Microcomputer belt. Later on, the Chameleon obtained a microcomputer belt buckle from Spencer Smythe. This microcomputer belt buckle serves 3 functions. 1. A video scanner receiver records and analyses a person's overall appearance, including facial features of anyone the Chameleon encounters, and feeds that information into a visual synthesizer that interpolates the rest of the person's appearance so that it can duplicate his or her facial features using electrical impulses. 2. Its memory banks can store up to hundreds of different images, including facial features. 3. The computer utilizes holographic image technology that when an image is called up via a code tapped on the belt's keypad, subtle electrical signals trigger changes in the Chameleon's body, and eye pigmentation allows him to change his appearance at the push of a button. A secondary signal alters the appearance of his clothing. His microcomputer belt buckle also is capable of allowed him to appear as 2 different people to 2 separate observers simultaneously by altering the perception of multiple viewers simultaneously. Memory material. The chameleon's clothing is made of a special fabric of memorial materials that can reshape and recolor itself by electrical impulses from his computer belt so as to resemble the clothing of the person he is impersonating. The change is triggered by his computer belt.